What's the worst thing about being a man? Sexual harassment and sexual assaults are usually a joke or not taken remotely serious when you're a guy. I've been sexually harassed and assaulted at work and told lucky guy, or they're old enough to be your mother. Take it as a compliment, as if that makes the situation better. In the end, honestly, if you're a guy and made sexually uncomfortable, it's too bad, so sad, move on. When I approached management about it, I'm just told, well, let's make it a clean slate and move on. What? They literally dry humped me? Grabbed my ass? Even when a member does it, it's just completely fine. Men aren't normally seen as victims. We are just expected to not be, or to not be affected by it. Work for Costco BTW. If anyone is curious as to where this happens. Also a Costco worker, call your regional management as soon as possible. No ROM would brush that under the rug, and if informed that warehouse management would freak. If they don't take action, call the SVP of the region. The company has open door policies for this very reason. I'm so sorry you went through that, and as someone in a leadership role it infuriates me to hear that's how it was treated. The general lack of empathy or support. You can do it, because you're a man. I'm drowning on all fronts here, just looking for anything to help. We can't say kids are cute without being on FBI watch list. While driving a classmate past a daycare I frequently pass on my runs, I commented that there's a bunch of cute kids that play there, just thinking it's nice there's still something good and pure in this messed up world. He started acting like I said they were sexy or something. I don't stare at anyone's kids, I'm just out for my run and looking ahead. Had to tell the guy, look, I'm almost 30, everything about my biology is screaming to make babies. So just chill, dude. Not everyone is a creep. Still made me feel bad the rest of the day. This is definitely a double standard. No one would bat an eye if a woman commented at kids being cute. It's even expected of us to feel our over is tingling if we see a cute kid. The stereotype that all men are pedophiles if they like working with children. Volunteered at the daycare that I went to when I was young for a field day event. One of the mothers there expressed her concern for a male being there around her kids, and word got back to me. I was pursuing a degree in early childhood EDU and dropped out and gave up on that dream because a lot of people thought I was weird or that I must be some sort of pedophile. I'm pursuing a career in education too. I hope to become a high school English teacher because I love working with younger people, even if it's not a huge market for male teachers. Sorry to hear about your dream being crushed. I'm a little worried as I've heard from my previous teachers about how they once received a couple anonymous complaints from parents that were worried he was trying to get with the female students. The lack of respect men receive as parent. Not being able to interact with children without fearing being called a pedo. It can be desperately lonely, especially for the introverts. Extremely weak emotional connection with male friends and peers. Hair loss. It would piss my dad off so much when people said he was babysitting the kids. No, he's being a parent. Why do people do this? I feel like I can't genuinely enjoy being around kids without people thinking I'm weird or a pedo. A friend of mine, a guy, worked as a daycare worker for a few years. Until one day some 12-year-old girl told one of the workers he had made a comment on her boobs, so he was immediately fired. The next day the girl asked where he was, and then when they explained it to her, she said she was just lying because she thought it would be funny. They offered him his job back, but the whole situation was so mortifying for him that he has never worked with children ever again. A few years ago I offered to take my then girlfriend's, now wife, 12-year-old sister to the dentist because I was the only one available. I had a decent enough relationship with her at the time, but once we got there the receptionist asked her who I was. Her reply, I dunno, some guy. Great. Now I have to worry if they are secretly calling the cops while I wait, even though I explained who I was. She thought it would be a funny thing to say. I didn't take her anywhere like that alone, again. That's the kind of stuff that can ruin a man's life for absolutely no reason. 12-year-old girls can have a twisted sense of humor. P.S. Nobody laughed. Very little bugs me the way this does. I'm a father. Apparently, that means I'm a bumbling idiot when it comes to my kid. I've changed as many diapers as her mom. I stayed up with her all night several times. I took 3 months off work to spend time with her when she was a baby. Admittedly, I'm not great at doing hair, but I can put it in a ponytail. Fathers aren't morons when it comes to their kids. I can raise mine as well as any mom. Edit. Also, you're babysitting today when I take my daughter somewhere with me. Nope. I'm raising my kid. I'd get paid to babysit. Oh, you're giving mom a break. Nope. I just like having her with me when I do stuff. I'm sure I could use the break just as much as her mom. Oh boy. I will never forget being on the playground with my girl and all the soccer moms. I start noticing whispers and glances. Finally some nosy woman comes up to me. No hello, no excuse me. Just and aggressive. Where is her mother? I really wanted to escalate and say, none of your damned business. I did not. I ate crow and said, she's at work. She wasn't. She just didn't want to come to the playground with Nina and I. I was livid. Hair everywhere. I mean seriously, does it have to come out of my ears? Body, you're getting older now. What would you like to ease the burden? Me, oh I dunno. Knee lubricant? Body, hair out of the ears it is. My mom died suddenly September. All I've wanted is for a friend to give me a hug and be willing to listen. My wife's girlfriends will, but none of my male friends despite telling them I'm really hurting. Nobody is willing. It fucking sucks. That's literally the first thing I did when my mate lost his mum. Some of us hug just to say hello. Virtual bro hug sending your way mate. My few close friends and I always hug hello/goodbye and always make sure to say I love you too. Nothing wrong with showing love to the homies if you really appreciate them. I feel for must be rough to not have any support from your friends like that. The worst thing for me is how people look at me when I'm around kids. My next door neighbors are lovely people and they have 3 kids 7, 9, and 11. The kids love to play soccer or football or frisbee and sometimes, when I get home from work, I'll go outside and play with them. It takes a village and all that. They have a 5-year-old cousin who is over often. She loves to get carried around and play with the cousins. When I'm around those kids when their extended family is around, the extended family looks at me like I'm a pedophile. The kids run up and hug me and stuff and drag me outside to play with them. The scorn and disdain from the aunts and uncles is profound. And then they'll hear the kids call my name and they'll be like, oh, that's you. They talk about you all the time. And it's suddenly okay. But those looks I get bug me. The initial reaction of other adults is to assume that something evil and disgusting is happening, as though their parents would just let that happen. It just sucks to work hard trying to be a good human and have people look at you like you're the lowest of the low. Edit. It makes me really happy to read all the stories of other men being good role models to kids who aren't their own. Good work, men. A month ago I took my daughter to her 1-month appointment. Nurse said, oh, you're on dad duty today. First of all, I'm always on dad duty. Second, I take my son to 90% of his appointments. 3 fuck your. Edit. This blew up but it happens. My parents act the same way too with stuff. I aspire as a father to be like Bandit before I knew who Bandit was. You should have just acted really dumb. What do you mean? I don't get it. Have them to get explain at you too and they'll realize they sound like an ass. The stress of providing for your family amid all the current turmoil in the world and knowing that it's all on you, whether your family has a stable and financially secure life, while feeling the need to obtain a life that probably isn't realistically obtainable anymore, and every day watching the neighborhood you live in slowly get worse and know there's nothing you can do about it right now. Feeling like you can't open up because of how it always turns out, therefore bottling it inside and letting it all out at once, thereby making it even worse. And just being told, well, it will be okay. Okay, cool, sure. Well, as the one that it depends on to make it okay, I kind of need to know how to do that. Edit. Wow, this got quite a response. Thanks to everyone who shares this type of stress. It is hard day in and day out, but for those of us with kids and SAHMs, we are doing what's arguably the cheaper alternative anyway. I just meant to highlight the pressure that does form that isn't talked about much, and I see I'm not alone. So thank you all for that. I'll try to respond individually as much as I can. Might be a bit though. Dating and having to initiate everything with women fucking sucks. I might just say fuck it and not try to find anyone. I'm starting to think that staying single is a better life. I bought a man flowers once as initiation, had them sent to our work, and got to watch as he received them at his desk. A dozen long stem roses. I'd never seen a man so happy. We've been married for almost 12 years now. One of the reasons I did it was because no man had ever given me flowers and I figured, give the person I want to date the thing no one ever gave me. Nobody takes your feelings seriously or bothers to check in on you. Yeah, this is a big one. I try to be the guy who checks in on people, but it can be pretty painful when nobody checks in on you. I'm sure I could die and nobody would know for like 2 weeks if it wasn't for work lol. I'm just so tired and depressed, getting out of bed is a chore. Been exercising lately, but it hasn't helped yet, maybe cause it's the only thing I do on my days off. Growing up it was expected that we were supposed to ask the ladies out. So if you found yourself as a 25-year-old virgin who'd never kissed a girl, it was obviously because you were some kind of loser. Yeah, this was absolutely by far the worst thing about being a guy for me. Was a virgin until my late 20s and miserable about it the whole time. The amount of self-loathing and low self-esteem is off the charts. Being seen as a pedophile. B/C, you're concerned about a kid that wandered ahead of their parents. Instead of thinking about the danger that puts the kid in, they judge the man looking at the kid. Once my brother, husband, and I went on a trip together. We rounded the corner of a hotel and saw an elevator closing with a young kid, maybe 3, standing outside the elevator. Apparently she ran out and the doors closed. Scared, she immediately started running and crying. We all ran to get her, calm her down, and find the parents. Well, she immediately ran to my brother. I'm not sure why, but kids absolutely adore him and gravitate towards him. He sat on the floor with her while my silent husband went to find the parents. Well, others heard her crying and we explained what had happened, and the women tried taking the child away from my brother. Mind you, these weren't her parents, just women who felt she was better off with them instead of my brother. I intervened saying that he's incredible with kids. He and I actually both work at an elementary school, and my husband and Sil went to find the parents. But they were insistent on taking her, but I refused because she had finally calmed down and was chatting with my brother. Shortly her parents came, thanked us, and everything was fine. But man, these women were shooting daggers and dirty looks. I was furious. Always being seen as a creepy person even though we are not trying to be. I was a collegiate swimmer and long-time lifeguard. As such, I also taught a lot of swim lessons and continued doing that well into my 30s. Nearly every year after I started college, without fail, there would be a handful of moms who wouldn't want me teaching their kid because an adult man working around children is very obviously a pedophile. Now they wouldn't quite say that, but you always could read between the lines when parents would ask their kid be given a different instructor. What makes this even worse is that kids need to see men in nurturing roles like childcare, primary school teaching, etc. It hurts everybody. The men who can't get these jobs that they want, the kids who don't get to interact with men as nurturers, and the women who live in the atmosphere that only women can really care for children with no ulterior motive.